Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that. If you're returning, how you doing? What we're going to be talking about today is our power grid, all right? And I'm going to get into a little bit of detail of threats that have been made. And it's like, wow, this is significant. And, this is something that we can actually prep for. So I want you to pay attention, okay? There has been a suspected extremist that has threatened to attack the power grid unless two men are released from custody. I know. So, because when I first read about this and I was researching it, I'm like, are you serious? Whatever. So, in a bulletin board that was shared on April 6th by the South Dakota Fusion Center, which disseminates intelligence to law enforcement on suspected criminal and terrorist activity. Screenshots from Telegram. Do you know what Telegram is? It's like another, I guess it's like a social media type thing. So it was shared on Telegram, and they show an unidentified individual demanding the release of two men that were arrested by the FBI in late 2022. So the individual shared these four diagrams, and I do not have these diagrams. Even if I did, I'm not going to share. I wouldn't share them anyway because I'm not going to partake in the moronic thoughts of these individuals. I'm not going to do it. So these four diagrams of electrical grid transformer equipment, before stating that the failure to release these men would result in more attacks on our infrastructure. Okay, Jack, you're an idiot for one thing, even threatening to do this, because don't you know that you can be tracked by anything that you do on the internet, you jackass? Anyway, so in the first 8 months of 2022, the power grid was attacked primarily by gunfire, okay, 107 times. And I reported on a lot of these when I had my original channel. I reported on a lot of them. And it was by these, idiots. Out pure and simple, just idiots that literally had nothing better to do with their time. And, it's like they woke up one day and said, today's the day. Today's the day. We're going to make innocent people suffer because we're not getting our way. That's pretty much what it was. So many of these attacks have been linked to these extremist groups looking to sow chaos and advance their cause. So what I'm going to show you is a bulletin that was put out, okay? And it was put out by the South Dakota Office of Homeland Security Fusion Center, okay? It says National/Homeland Security. It says a suspected racially or ethnically motivated violent extremist demanded the release of two identified individuals and claimed failure to do so will result in more attacks on the infrastructure. And then it goes on to say a suspected extremist, I'm reading it to you because the writing is very, very, very small, demanded the release of two identified individuals arrested by the FBI in December of 2022. Source claimed failure to do so will result in more attacks on infrastructure. Source additionally shared four diagrams of electrical grid transformer equipment and encouraged viewers do not get any ideas. Source is a public instant messaging channel with multiple administrators who post violent extremist content. Content includes threats to electrical grid infrastructure and RMVEWS, whatever the hell that means, ideological, motivational posts such as saint calendars. Your guess is as good as mine. Source has direct access to the information. This is a news source whose information has not yet been validated. Source posted the content to their public channel. Source posts in the English language. Source stated free Doc, D-O-C, Grimson, Grimson, Luke Kenna. Collector comment, Doc Grimson is an alias for Michael Brown Jr. Source expressed, we have our demands. We and provided two. One, release our men. Two, leave them alone after. Source claimed, failure to do so will result in more attacks on infrastructure. The post received 86 views each. Well, you're not really going to get your point across if you're only getting 86 views. Just saying. So, Source then shared a post which contained a text statement and 4 images of electrical transformer equipment and specified it was for educational purposes only, of course. Upside down smiley face emoji. Don't get any ideas. Jackasses. So, as I said, the Bulletin notes that the Telegram post name Doc Grimson and Luke Kenna as the 2 men are in custody. And a June 23rd press release from the U.S. Attorney's Office for the Northern District of New York states that Kenna and Grimson, the real name Michael Brown Jr., are accused of planning a bank robbery. So 41-year-old Brown, who is a native of Pennsylvania, pled guilty to conspiring to commit a bank robbery in June and is set to be sentenced on September 3rd. Now, Kenna, Kenna, is 43 years old. He's from New York, is scheduled to appear before a judge on August 17th. The plot was uncovered after Kenna was pulled over by the police in New York during a routine traffic stop on November 26th. Kenna was reportedly wearing all black clothes, black gloves, black ballistic vest, and was in possession of a diary that laid out plans for the bank robbery. Kenna was also found to be in possession of an untraceable ghost gun and a large knife. So investigators, they later discovered a chat group on the encrypted messaging app Threema. Never heard of it. Threema. And it was titled SS Screenwriters Guild. It was a reference to a NAZI paramilitary organization that laid out the intricate detail, the planning and preparation by Kenna Brown and a third individual later identified as a 29-year-old from Virginia. So a December report that was based on an unsealed criminal complaint details Kenna's links to the neo-pagan hate group known as Wolves of Vineland. And Kenna's Facebook profile was also found to contain imagery consistent with supremacist ideology, also having pagan symbols and runes. And Brown, who sold knives through his now defunct company, Black Market Tactical, is known to have run Neo-NAZI Telegram channel, although it's unclear whether the recent threats were made on that same channel. So the Telegram posts listed 2 specific demands before threatening the attack, the grid, if they weren't met. Like I said, release the men and leave them alone. So the individuals also captured the 4 diagrams with a notice coyly stating that they were for educational purposes only. And that's something that content creators say. Like I've said it, I know a lot of other people say it, it's for educational yeah, not today, Satan. Educational purposes only. Do your own research. We always say that type of thing, especially if we're talking about sensitive subjects, you know. And, you know, this is for information. You know, that's what a lot of our stuff is for. It's for information purposes only, educational purposes only. We're trying to get the word out, you know, and then you do your own research. You know, it's just, you know, that's what we do. You know what I'm saying? So, and then of course he added an upside down smiley face emoji. And according to the Bulletin, the post and images were obtained by Homeland Security Office of Intelligence and analysts, indicating it was monitoring the threat. So last year we saw a significant uptick in attacks against the power grid. You remember this, right? including high-profile incidents in North Carolina, in South Carolina, Washington State, Oregon, and also here in Florida. It still remains unclear, though, the motive behind all these attacks, and groups on Telegram have implied that many of these incidences are linked and they were carried out by combatants, although no evidence has been presented to prove any truth of that. So law enforcement, they have their concerns over these extremists and their interests in this thing called the Flipper Zero hacking tool, which is in relation to the power grid. Now, experts, however, say that such concerns are unfounded and greatly exaggerate the actual capabilities of this tool. Once again, I've never heard of this Flipper Zero hacking tool, but then again, I'm not a hacker, so I wouldn't know about it. So, you know, this is just another reason why we prep, right? For grid down, because God only knows if one of these jacks are going to get a hair on their ass and they say, they're not releasing my friends, and, you know, do whatever they do, whether it's by computer or pew pew, and there goes the power grid. All right. So anyway, all right, guys, I'm out of here. I will see you in the next one. Okay. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping. And as always, fear less, or try to. Ciao.